Hello everyone, Silverstruck here. Welcome to the Silverstruck channel. If you're into vintage silver like I am, I hope you enjoy this video. I have a couple of scarce bars to share with all of you, and then one that's just downright rare. Those are always fun to be able to share with all of you out here, especially if you're into the bigger bars. Here we have two 10-ounce bars and one 5-ounce, so 25 ounces of vintage silver added into the stack. Couple different pickups, so not all of these came from the same place. And that said, we'll start with the small bar on the table, the 5-ouncer, and that did come from an auction house. The other two were coin shop finds. So this one came to me from Mineral X. Some of you are familiar with that auction. I don't buy from them a lot. I prefer to find my silver in the wild. This one is one that I needed for the stack and collection. The classic Liberty bar by Engelhard. It's just a beautiful example here. Super thick bar, very nice in the hand. So let's have a look at the reverse. And as we can see here on the reverse of the bar, it says Liberty Trade Silver. That unmistakable Engelhard E floating on the bar over to the right-hand side. And then what I like about this bar is it has everything a collector would like. It has a date towards the bottom, 1986. A serial number, this one with a leading A prefix. And of course, it lists fineness and weight, 3/9 fine silver, 5 troy ounces. So has everything that you want in a vintage bar, just a beautiful example. I'm glad to have been able to add this one into the stack. So how rare is it? Well, let's go to allengelhard.com, my favorite reference site online. And as we can see here, it's a reported mintage of about 7,500. So we can call this scarce, definitely not rare, but it's a hard bar to find. It typically sells at quite a premium when you find it. And it's just one of those stacker / collector staples for any vintage fan out there. So did not have this in a 5-ounce form, and now I get to add it into the collection. So very thankful for that. Now the next bar is definitely a lot more rare and a lot more scarce than the Engelhard Liberty bar. And this is a counter stamp bar that I've been after for a while. It's especially rare in poured version, but in pressed, not as rare. And that is this beautiful gold standard bar here. This is a coin shop pickup. This one was basically purchased for generic pricing. As you can see, it has some patina and toning on it, and it's scratched up in the field, so this has definitely been kicked around a bin for a while. It says gold standard right there. This is an Engelhard produced bar. 3/9 fine silver, 10 troy ounces. And please note the serial number is actually on the obverse. So let's have a look at the reverse. So as we flip this one over here, you can see that it's that classic blank back reverse with border. And again, this one's scraped up just a little bit, so it's not a primo example, but pretty cool. Definitely an awesome find at a coin shop. And just how rare or scarce might this one be? Well, let's just check out that resource, allengelhard.com. I talk about these guys all the time. And here we have two listings, and you can see the top listing actually has the serial number on the obverse. And that listing tells us the mintage at about 5,000, and then the bottom listing is the same bar without the serial number on the obverse, and it also says 5,000. But what is the survival rate to this day? I've only found one of these bars in all of my searching for years and years, so I bet the survival rate of a gold standard bar like this is quite low, and just very excited to have found one of these finally sitting in a store, especially in the generic section. So there are still some really good vintage bars you can find out there, especially in pressed. I've said in past videos, I think that pressed bars, especially vintage pressed bars, are overlooked. A lot of collectors really like the older poured bars. Can't blame them for that, but there's also some cool bars to find in pressed as well. So I've saved the best for last. This is an incredibly rare bar, especially in 10-ounce weight. So let's have a look. This is the Johnston Matthey here on the table. This one is a Royal Bank bar. You can see the Royal Bank logo right here at the top of the bar. The fineness, 3/9 fine silver, and the weight, 10 troy ounces. Classic JM press bar look. And let's have a look at the reverse. As we flip the bar over here, you can see that classic Johnston Matthey with crossed hammers towards the bottom. The Royal Bank logo repeated 9 times in full on the reverse here, and a serial number. This one is 003190. Please remember that serial number. It's important for this particular bar. So back to allengelhard.com and the listing they have for the Royal Bank bar. And as you can see here, the mintage is only 250, but even cooler, my serial number on this particular bar is now posted on allengelhard.com. That's 003190. Reason being is it's outside that serial number range that was previously posted. So will that move the mintage of the bar? According to allengelhard.com, I don't know. But it's certainly an anomaly to have a serial number outside of the range that's posted. And that's why it's important for us collectors to be able to report to sites like allengelhard.com and share our findings, because it does move the needle. It's up to us collectors to be able to add more information as it becomes available. So really cool that I was able to get the serial number for this particular bar on allengelhard.com. And regardless of mintage, these are very, very rare bars. You never see them out there. And so happy to have found this particular one also for generic pricing in a generic bin. Just amazing. So don't overlook those press bars. There are some rare ones. Not all of them were made the same. And again, a lot of collectors focus on those poured. But I think if you're focused only on poured vintage bars, you're missing the mark a little bit with some of these really cool varieties that you can find in the pressed 10-ounce category. So all that said, I really hope you enjoyed watching, and you'll have to let me know in the comment section which of these 3 is your favorite bar. I do enjoy talking with all of you. Thank you so much for your viewership, and as always, thank you so much for watching.